Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mythgard in Middle-earth. Once again, my name is Corey Olson, the Tolkien Professor, joined as always by my friend Gryfflet, who seems to have fallen on hard times, I'm afraid. Here he is, spending some time on the inside at the Stangard jail here. But hopefully we can bust him out here before too long. Have to admit, as you can see, if you look closely at my quick bars down here, I totally forgot that I had to retrait Gryfflet before stream today, so I'm a little bit late because I was just doing that. So this is me frantically clicking on traits just a minute ago. But anyway, we're all set. Okay, of course, my quick bar is now a jumbled, horrible mess. So that's just how it's going to be. So we'll live with that. Anyway, come on, rise and shine, Gryfflet. Time to bust out of here. I know you can pick that lock, so. All right, hey, and hello there. Let's see, how do you pronounce your name? Downeye? Not quite sure how to pronounce that, but hi. Hello from Germany, and good to see you here today. Thanks for joining us. So as usual, for those of you who are new to the stream, the main thing that I am focusing on doing here, there are two main things that among the things on which I am focused are such diverse elements as discussion of the narrative. Gryfflet is here doing a not quite completionist, but looking at the whole story of the game as it is developing. So I'm really interested in all that. So I try to hit all of the major quest lines, especially now. And this has been ever since I was a little more selective back in the old days, but by the time we hit Dunland, all of the quest chains were also interconnected that it was hard to avoid them. So I've been doing most of them since then. So that's the first thing that I am going to I'm gonna be doing. The second thing I do, of course, is answer questions. I love to talk about general Tolkien lore questions that you might have. That's sort of in my role as the Tolkien Professor, which, by the way, never really intended to be my title. It was just my website. But whatever. Point is, there it is. So ever since I started my podcast, The Tolkien Professor, I've been answering people's questions about Tolkien and discussing, issues and topics and things from the books, which I love doing. So really happy to do that. So if you have a question, if there's something about Tolkien that you've always wondered or you'd like to discuss with us here as I go through the stream, put it in the chat. Best if you type lore question at the beginning in all caps and then colon and then your question, and then Phil Boswell, who's our lore monkey here, will make sure I get that passed along to me so that because I can't always keep track of that while I'm pretty bad at thinking about multiple things at the same time, so I'll often miss that. Anyway, the third thing, of course, that I often do is talk about art criticism from within the world of Middle-earth. Gryfflet is very fond of art and architecture. So, okay. Oh, wait, I can't open the door. Hey, I can't open the door. Stanrick, there we go. You're free. Gryfflet is ready to let you out. Gryfflet is confused about something, however. Ooh, he's chained to a post. That's hardcore. If Stanrick is still alive, what was up with the poison that we discovered? It seems like sort of conflicting plot lines, doesn't it? That we were sleuthing our way around the outpost down there and discovering that poison had been experimented with, and poison seemed to have been used to Stanrick, but then he's actually captured and held alive. I was a little bit puzzled by that, but I feel suggests maybe they were intending to poison all the people in Stangard. Yeah, maybe it's being prepared as a way to eliminate all of Stanrick's most ardent supporters. That's possible. But anyway, Stanrick, let's see what we can do. Okay. Right. Sure. Yeah. Okay. That was a surprisingly general introduction there. Okay. I really like this hutch here. I think that more prisons should have hutches like this, where you could display, your china. I mean, I've never been imprisoned myself, so I guess it's only, I'm only assuming that they don't have hutches. But as I've always understood, at least in movies, they never depict prisons as having nice display hutches like this in the hallway, which I think is really a sign of the decline of our society. But anyway, okay. Oh, you can't hear the gameplay sounds? Of course you can't, because I failed to fix the thing. Okay, hang on. Hang on. I can fix that thing. There we go. Now you'll get them. Thanks for pointing that out, Druid's Fire. Appreciate that. Always keeping me, attempting to keep me doing things right. She does the best she can. Okay. All right, Stanric, I gotta pick your shackles here. Pick the locks on your manacles. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, Sithric must pay for his crime. Are you squatting down so you can look me in the eyes? That's both very kind and also slightly patronizing, Stanric, but that's okay. I'm not sensitive. I'm trying to get in front of your face. There we go. Okay. Here we go. That's kind of cute. Look at this. Stanric and Gryfflet, face to face. That's nice. Okay, Stanric, what do you got?
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
You can't believe the gall of Sithric. I know, right? Let's take back the city. Maybe, what about you've got folks at the farm. They're kind of far away. A sleeping draft. Okay, so it was just okay, but that didn't seem to be what he was experimenting with. You want to know why he's here? Yeah. Why has he gone to such lengths to cripple us completely? A question to be asked. Yeah. And I love this as our first glimpse into Rohirric politics. Win the hearts of your men. Yeah, let's win the hearts of your men. I'm with you. Oh, we're talking more. Let's do this. Why does he do what he does?
Our mission is dire.
And more importantly, why does he get away with it, right? How is it that people can convince themselves, as we know is true, right? Grima had a following. People went along with what Grima said. And he was wielding the authority of the king, right? But, and that's, we were looking at that before, right? Stanric, the cleft stick that Stanric is caught in here, right, is that Sithric was sent from Meduseld. So to simply cast Sithric out would seem to be defying the king. So the situation of divided loyalty that they have put Stanric in, I think, is really interesting and really well done. Okay. All right. Let's see. Go rally the men, and you will make your way to the mead hall. Meet you at the mead hall. Okay. Let's rally the men. Rally the men in the inn. Whoa. Here I am in the inn. But this is not the first place I would have gone to... Wait, what are they saying? Gada and the others left because Sithric is corrupt. Yeah. Shh, not so loud. Okay, these could look like sympathetic characters. Hey, guys. Here you go. Atholf.
Will you aid the horse lords?
Yeah, join Stanric. Stanric is alive. Go support Stanric. Mead Hall. I know, you didn't think this even of Sithric, right? Yeah, it's really a fascinating contemplation, right? I love the way that this whole thing is... Oh, wham! Here I am in the mead hall. That's it? What about the dude? I wanted to get the dude who feeds his dogs. He's totally on your side, Stanric. There's Sithric. All right, hang on. You know what you look like you should have, townsperson? A bow. I mean, you look like you're ready to punch somebody in the face, and that's all to the good. But you have your quiver and no bow, which seems like an Sithric standing with naked sword in hand in the mead hall. That's kind of a big deal. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So what I was saying was, here's what I like about it. Here's what I think is really interesting, which they've done a really good job of. I talked about the divided loyalties just a second ago, right? But think about the implications of this. One of the things that I, anyway, find very admirable about the Rohirrim in the book, and seems to be generally very popular, among Tolkien fans, is their love for their king, right? The way that they follow Theoden and their loyalty to Theoden, and that whole Theoden is the father of his people kind of relationship that is fairly clearly depicted, right, in the Two Towers and the Return of the King. But you'll notice how the LOTRO plot here in this whole segment is kind of putting pressure on that in, I think, some really interesting ways. Stanric, think of the position that Stanric is in. On the one hand, so Sithric gets sent from Meduseld, so he has every reason to believe that Sithric has the power of the king behind him. And Sithric is doing things in the name of the king. He's been sent by the king to take things in hand, and so he's taking things in hand. So where does Stanric end up? I mean, it's not just his divided loyalties to his men and to the king. That's an issue. But it's not just that, right? In a sense, he has two things come into conflict. His fundamental belief that the things which Theoden says should happen are right? His submission to Theoden as the father of their people, on the one hand, and like the evidence of his own eyes, on the other hand, right? How long can this go on? Can Sithric do what he's been doing? As the townspeople there in the inn were just saying, what he has done has obviously weakened Stangard, right? If, it makes me think of that line that Farmer Maggot, the Farmer Cotton says in The Return of the King when he's talking to Merry and Pippin and Frodo. When he says, if they're setting about trying to make the Shire into a desert, they're going the right way about it, right? It's the same thing you say with Sithric, right? If he were to be setting out on purpose, right? If this messenger of the king had set out on purpose to try to make Stangard as weak as possible, and so as to be as easy as possible for his enemies to overcome, this is exactly how he should go about it, right? At what point do those observations lead you to the conclusion this messenger sent from Meduseld, this messenger sent from the king, is actively on the side of our enemies, is setting out to see Stangard overthrown by its foes? And that might seem, on the one hand, I think, one of the reasons I think that this is so interestingly done in the storyline here is that I think it's easy for a lot of modern readers to kind of be biased in the direction of the evidence of your own eyes, right? It's like, well, obviously, like, I could imagine somebody saying the Sithric plot isn't even believable because he's so obviously a bad guy from the very beginning, right? Everything he does is bad. And so why is it that Stanric even convinces himself, for a while, that what he's doing is okay? Why did he not put his foot down a long time ago? Why did it even get to this point? But again, I think that's not a weak storyline on the part of the LOTRO people. Instead, I think it's a very keen insight into the dynamics of the world that Tolkien has created. If it seems that way to you, right, if you've had that reaction when going through this storyline, like, oh man, this is really labored, like, it's so obvious, you're thinking like a modern person. You're not really putting yourselves into the shoes of a loyal man of Rohan, like Stanric is, right? It's not that if you are a loyal, Rohirric soldier, you don't believe that the king can ever do anything wrong. It's not about that, right? But there is, as we see it, a deep and fundamental trust for the king that the loyal people of Rohan have. And again, it's noble, it's admirable, it's very attractive when Theoden is right, and doing good things. But it's I think it's very I think it's very perceptive the way that they are raising, the way that they set this issue up. This is exactly how somebody who is one of those loyal Rohirric people would get entrapped by Grima. This is exactly what Wormtongue would be attempting to, exactly the kind of situation that Wormtongue would be attempting to create, the kind of dynamics that he would be deliberately exploiting, right, in order to get away with what he did. People don't have to be clueless, right? People don't have to be stupid in order not to see what's happening, in order to not act against what's happening. They just have to have things like their fundamental beliefs, which they've never challenged before, right? They've never had cause to challenge them before. You just have to exploit those, right? You just have to create situations where there is enough doubt that they're not willing to act on it, right? Because they're not sure that they're in the right and they don't want to become traitors. It's a really, really big deal, especially if you're operating within this world. And I think it's really cool how they have created that. I think that this storyline really helps you get inside of what I think. I agree with them. I think this is very much the kind of world that, you know, Rohan was the kind of society that Rohan had, the kind of society Tolkien depicts in the book. And we never see this kind of thing acted out. You know, we just go straight to Meduseld, right, in the actual Lord of the Rings story, and confront Grima almost immediately. We know that this kind of thing would have happened, right, but we don't get to see it. So anyway, I think that that's this is really, really neat. So I'm glad that they did such a thoughtful job of depicting this story. And this is one of the things that I find most attractive about LOTRO, and why I have said so many times that I think that LOTRO is such a brilliant adaptation of the books, is it goes so far beyond simply rendering the story or parts of the story into the game, right? They have done a really wonderful job of imagining Tolkien's world as he depicts it, and really kind of bringing us into that. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, cool. And yeah, thanks, JJ, for running excuses for me. It's true that sometimes I get off on my own threads and I don't always get to all the lore questions during the course of a session. We keep track of them though. So if you ask a question and I don't get to it this way, I might get back to it next week or the week after that. We keep a list. Phil does a great job of making sure I don't lose track of them and forget about them. So eventually we'll get around to it. But that's the other thing I like about LOTRO. We're not in a hurry, right? Gryfflet is level 76. He's been exploring this world. How long have I been doing this stream now? 2 years? 3 years? And we're only at level 76 in not even in Rohan yet, right? Still in the Great River. This is again, one of the things that I love about this game is how much of it there is, and how much detail there is, and how rewarding it is to go through slowly and really think it all through. Yeah, and JJ, you're right. The relative independence of the towns would also aid in the misunderstandings here. You wouldn't see the larger pattern across the entire kingdom. If you happen to know that, you know, shady emissaries were being sent from Meduseld and undermining the defenses of like every town, every stronghold around Rohan, that would be evidence, right? You'd be able to start putting together a big picture, which would point back perhaps towards Grima. But yeah, what does Stanric know, right? What does Stanric know? Sithric is the contact he has had with Meduseld recently, right? He doesn't know what's happening in the Wold. He doesn't know what's happening in Wildermore. You know, it's so yeah, absolutely. It's a really, really big deal. That kind of misunderstanding, that kind of the lack of communication in a pre-modern world that Tolkien is depicting. Okay, all right. Stanric, you guys have been staring each other down very patiently for a long time. I didn't even notice Atholf up there, right? We've got Stanric standing forthrightly in the center, confronting Sithric, and I like how he's He's on the floor, but you can see he's taller than him, and just from the perspective here where we come in, it looks like he's looking down on Sithric, which is cool. We've got Uthrad and Adalbert, who are both wielding weapons, a dagger and an axe, which look kind of shady and threatening, as opposed to townsperson over here who's holding a spear, looking like a guard doing his duty right in support of Stanric, and then Mr. Non-Bowman, who at least looks like an active pugilist, and then Atholf, who looks kind of who's just like, whatever. He's just standing there with his arms crossed. I'm not even going to deign to get a weapon. I'm just going to stand here and look strongly disapproving of you guys. And Adalbert, I hope you feel the weight of my displeasure from up here on the top step, right as I stand here looking with great disapproval down upon you. First episode was 2015, Phil? Seriously? We're going on 4 years now? It's been 3.5 years since I started the Gryfflet stream? Wow. Wow. How time flies. Okay. All right, Stanric.
Our mission is dire.
You must borrow my strength. Okay. I'm with you. You won't get away with it, Sithric. Yes, there are witnesses. I found your rat poison and various other things. And he invokes the law of Theoden. Kill them. See, it's justified. They're traitors to the king. Right? They are traitors to the king and deserve to die. What he does is not inappropriate, though he's a little bit uncertain. Oh, sure. It's just me you're going to attack and then you're going to knock me out? Huh? Is that the way you think this is going to go? Well, we'll just see about that, won't we? I think you will soon have second thoughts about your life choices leading up to this, Adalbert. Please stop. Yeah, no problem. Uthrad, you coming too, huh? Yeah, this is wrong. Excellent. Treason. See, exactly. You think you will find mercy at Aedoras when you were tried by Grima. Ooh, he tips his hand a little bit there, right? Uh-huh. Such things the enemy loves. Right? Foe attack, or friend attacking friend, loyalty divided. Exactly. Ooh, boy, I took you down pretty quickly there, Uthrad. You will all pay. Whoa. Hey, Sithric, I thought you were going to attack Stanric, and I was coming over here so I could, come at you from behind with positional advantage, but that's all right. Even without positional advantage, I'm preparing to mop the floor with you. I'm not even very strongly over level, only four levels up? No. Wait, where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Oh, he's still stunned. That's what that is. Okay. Just collapsed right under Uthrad's feet. All right, Stanric.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
He'll be locked up. Very good. Oh, am I going to go back to the prison and find Sithric there instead? Hooray! Okay, my only reward is that justice has been done. Yeah, Madman Model, I really like the color scheme, right? You've got the greens and browns, which are clearly the dominant colors of Rohan here, as we've already seen in Stangard, and the black and red of Sithric's people. Now, Uthrad, hey man, no hard feelings, right? And Gada's back. Oh man, you're not even gonna talk to me? It's cold, man. Okay, well, Horn's in red too. Still, I agree. In the room there, it was a striking tableau. All right. Yeah, I know that was a pretty grand music swell there, right? Gryfflet triumphantly emerges from the mead hall. Wait. Stangard, because he's going to be back in the mead hall, right? Where is he? He's back up here. I was just about to go back down to the prison, but I'm like, wait a second, he's not still in the prison. Just because that's where I left him doesn't mean that that's where he is. I should go back in the mead hall. In which Stangard will have been. There he is. Oh, he's pacing around. All by himself, though. Oop. Bah. Ooh, help. Cannot jump over tables. Gotcha.
Will you aid the horse lords?
Hey, no problem. Lasting friendship of Stangard would be nice. What are you giving me as a token of your appreciation? Okay. Let's see. What do we get? A hat. Huh? The hat of the betrayer. Oh, that doesn't sound flattering. The helm of the falsely bound. Shouldn't it be like the helm of the person who unbound those who had been bound falsely? Not quite as... doesn't roll off the tongue exactly, but... Ooh, I get an agility bonus if I have multiple... Oh, no, that's of the one I'm wearing. Right, of course. Naturally. Okay, and I'm good there. Yeah, this is not nearly as good. But is it attractive? Hang on. Oh, yeah. Well, look at that. Oh, I think that helmet looks great under that cloak. Never mind. Now I'm all curious, though. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Just give me some tokens, and we'll call it quits. Okay. Thank you, Favor. Isn't it a lovely outfit? I think that this is the this is that. So the armor. No, that's not what I meant. Where is it? It's the armor. I bought it at in Dunland. Yeah, it's the riddle teller armor. Bought the whole set, and it's pretty nifty, and I really like the dragon cloak with it. So, which is why I'm going with the hood thing, but it's pretty cool. So maybe I'll, next time there's a cosmetic set, maybe Gryfflet will save up to do another, because he's got. Let's see, I'm not even remembering anymore. Hang on a second, Gryfflet. Time for a little fashion show, because I'm forgetting which. Okay, oh, right, yes, here's his stealth ninja outfit. Yeah, and here, darn it, Gryfflet, I'm trying to turn the camera. Okay. And now Stangard's going to be, all right, okay, and then there's his fancy dress. And then there's his party outfit. And then there's, his ranger outfit, yeah, sure. And then his cold weather gear. And then his Dunland outfit. Yes, which he laboriously gathered in Dunland. There, yes. And his prison outfit. Absolutely, the Isengard prison outfit. Never know when that's going to come in handy again. And I think that's it. Any others? Yeah. Now, look at that. I still have a cosmetic outfit slot I haven't opened. But I'm actually wearing my equipment outfit. Okay. All right. Cool. See, yeah, I'm sort of a late convert to the whole cosmetic thing. I played this game for a shocking amount of time whilst... Oh, wait, I just left the quest behind. Oh, honestly. I'm such a bad multitasker. Got distracted by cosmetics. Anyway, it took me a long time to warm up to cosmetics, but I finally got into it. All right, Stangard, sorry, you have a thing.
The Rohirrim will need your aid.
Okay, in all of your recent turmoil, there's something that escaped your memory. Parth Celebrant. And Briffard. Okay, you sent him out with a peasant to gather reeds, but he has yet to return. Okay, it would mean a great deal if I would track him down. Sure. Yeah, and I think I have another task in that camp as well. So that's a pretty nice, clear indication of where I'm supposed to be next, so I appreciate that. And why are the winter seasonal instances still here on my quest chain? Okay, here we go. Good. All right, so time to leave. I'm done with Stangard. Woohoo! So let me head down. But while I head down, let me get to a lore question here. Okay, JJ asked on Tuesday, how do elves prepare okra? Deep fried, obviously. JJ, they clearly invented that. There's no question about that. And okay. Oh man. Okay. Couple questions here. Sorry, I'm laughing because Ethelot is wanting to follow up my rant on the Oxford comma pro, by the way. Is there any situations where it is where it is socially unacceptable to use? You just have to kind of play that one by ear. You know, sometimes you find yourself in a crowd that's hostile to the Oxford comma, and although I feel strongly about the Oxford comma, I don't. It's not one of the hills I want to die on. It's really not. So, you know, I try to be understanding and generous-minded towards people who are anti-Oxford comma. Sometimes you just need to live and let live on this kind of thing. But anyway, yeah. So I think you probably won't get yourself into too many awkward social situations in life, in whether or not you choose to use the Oxford comma. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. All right. So Downey asks, okay. Let's see. I think we're talking about the question of goblins in the Shire. So the fact that we have a bunch of these goblins sent to infiltrate the Shire in the game, there's a general question about the mobs that we get in the game, right? So part of the overall framework is that the game is fundamentally combat based, right? That combat is the fundamental game mechanism in this game, and so therefore there's combat all over the place, right? So we get enemies everywhere. A thoroughly realistic picture of the Shire would not have very many dangerous creatures in it anywhere, right? Certainly not in Hobbiton or anywhere near the city, maybe up in the North Farthing. You might like the fact that there are some kind of ferocious bears who might attack you if provoked up in the North Farthing seems legit, right? You're right, JJ. Combat and parcel delivery. Totally agree. Anyway, so yeah, if you were just going straight out of the books, then no, there would not be giant spiders in the Shire. There would not really be goblins in the Shire. So one does have to acknowledge the fact that that entire structure of the game, the way that the game is set up to have combat all over the place, right? In every part of every region, really. Almost every region. They do a pretty good job of making Lothlorien relatively peaceful almost all over the place, right? But anyway, you have to acknowledge that creates situations which are just, they're not going to be reflected in the books, right? The one thing I will, the credit that I will give to the LOTRO designers on that score, however, is that given the fact that they, part of the premise of the game is having combat all over the place, if having granted them that premise, because that's their premise, they do a really good job of doing it in a thoughtful way, right? So that when they do bring in enemies who aren't really depicted as being there in the books, they think it through in ways where either the story behind it that's given in the game makes sense in the context of the Lord of the Rings story, even if it didn't actually happen in the Lord of the Rings, or at least is kind of thematically connected, right? So my point about the Shire, right? Go back to the Shire. They have a certain number of natural dangers, right? Like bears. Spiders, giant spiders in the Shire. 0% chance of giant spiders in the Shire, right? That just does not happen in the books. However, giant spiders, it's a Hobbit thing, right? There is documented evidence of at least one Hobbit, 2 Hobbits fighting giant spiders, right? 3 Hobbits being attacked by giant spiders total. So, if you're thinking broadly thematically, right, fighting giant spiders is a Hobbitish thing, and so therefore having giant spiders in the Shire is, if you have to import enemies to the Shire, it would be worse to just import something totally random, like Mumak or something like that, right? The Mumakil, you would not want that. You don't want things to, so they connect it again thematically. And so the goblins in the Shire they're kind of like that, but they're a little bit more legitimate than that. There they have, instead of, JJ is, no, I am not trying to justify my Gryfflet's failure to save the walking tree. Poor Gryfflet will never live it down. But anyway, the goblins, right? So in the goblins, they're doing something different. With the goblins, they're recalling a specific incident. So there were goblins in the Shire in that place. There are goblins in the Greenfields, right? To recall the story of Banderbus Took and the Battle of the Greenfields. So there was a historical battle in the Shire where goblins and hobbits did, in fact, have been. Now, it was so long ago that no living person remembers it in The Lord of the Rings, right? So having there be hobbits currently in, the North Farthing of the Shire while, Frodo is still living in Bag End is not true. Like, that does not happen in the books. And yet, it is at least inspired by a book event, right? And having, having the goblins of Mount Graham come back for vengeance, right? Remembering their defeat by Bull Roarer Took and one. I mean, that's fun, right? That's a kind of a cool thing. And yes, Catriona, they do a good job down in the Central Shire of having more innocuous mobs, things like the shrews, right? Which would be enemies of the hobbits, right? They're vermin, right? They would trouble the crops. They would, they would be pests that the hobbits would in fact probably have issues with, right? Even if it doesn't exactly look like that, right? So, anyway, I do think that's they do a good job with it. I'm not sure I agree with the premise. I mean, I think it's by far the biggest criticism I have of LOTRO. Not exactly criticism, but I guess imagining a world in which LOTRO was just launching right now, right? People are like, hey, The Lord of the Rings Online, this is a thing we want to do, right? And the original team, I would argue really strongly to say, hey, let's have a non-combat based game. Right? Let's think outside the box a little bit more. Let's not follow that sort of presumption so common in online gaming that combat after combat is the primary dynamic of the entire game. And they already resist that in many ways. JJ, you make jokes about parcel delivery, but it's true, right? I mean, they do have lots of non-combat oriented quests. I would have tried to make a pitch to find ways to grant XP outside of combat more, right? I mean, you have quest rewards, of course, but still, I think I would have wanted to push to make the game even less reliant upon combat than it is. But again, I'm willing to accept the game as it is, and instead of constantly wishing that it didn't happen, to sort of see how they are dealing with the sort of limitations under which they're working. So anyway, all right. All right, cool. Let's see. So where am I? Here I am. I'm in the camp, sort of. What is this place? Outpost? It's got a mysteriously incomplete palisade. I mean, it's got a palisade, and they just, like, forgot to finish it. It's not ruined, right? It's not been knocked down. What is that? Is that a platform? Lookout platform? It looks like it. Why didn't we complete this palisade? This seems like a serious oversight on the part of... I still want to run right up those roofs. I really wish we could, and I don't see why we can't, frankly. Anyway, yeah, so this is peculiar, leaving these two huge gaps. And still building a gate. That's perhaps the most puzzling thing at all. I mean, why build doors over here when you've got gaps that you can drive a truck through on either side? That's just weird. Okay. Anyway, but I guess this is an outpost, right? Because they have crafting stuff here. So, you know, we've got a forge and everything, and as well as tents and an actual house, right? A wooden house, not just a tent. So this is designed, looks like it's designed to be a more permanent kind of outpost. And if we look at the larger geography of the Great River here, and we've got Stangard here across the river here in this kind of semi-exile, just past the frontiers of Rohan. And we know that up here to the north in Thingglad, we get into the questionable area where there are these old, like, creepy elf trees and stuff. So you're getting into the borders of the elf country up there, so we don't really want to go there. We apparently don't want to go to the Limelight Gorge too much because there's ginormous spiders over there. So Parth Celebrant, Parth Celebrant is haunted land, right? That's the old battlefield, which of course lives on in all of the legends and in sacred memory of the Rohirrim. With this is where the ride of Eorl the Young happened, so that's really great. But it's still a place that remembers the old battle and is a place of the dead, as we'll see. So, anyhow, you can see how this is on the edges of that battlefield, right? So we don't want to live in the middle of the battlefield probably, but we're setting up a more permanent outpost over there. I guess that makes a certain amount of sense. We're going to see one down on the Rushgore as well, right on the fringes of the marshes there, how we're going to have an outpost there. All right, let's talk to folks here. All right, Briffard, what's up with come on, make with the reeds already.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
Of course Stanric would send someone. You object?
Our success depends upon our strength.
Okay.
Will you aid us?
My face is familiar? Really? I mean, I did visit this camp before, but... okay. Am I to assume you've been sent to find out what's taking us so long? Yes. Several of our servants have gone missing while gathering reeds. None have returned. Okay. I was sent myself to watch over a peasant today. What? Today was my day to babysit the peasant, to make sure we do not have any more problems. The man I escorted is taking longer than I expected. I had to return here to attend to some personal matters. Oh, you're doing a great job on peasant babysitting duty, Briffard. Is that your idea of keeping an eye out on the peasants?
Let me see it.
Oh, man. Okay. Whoa. Suddenly we're talking about fundraising. Okay, I see. I see. Yeah, that would be hard to transfer. Okay, let's see. We're a ways from home. Yes, we are. This field of Celebrant was the site of a great battle 500 years ago where my ancestors rode to the aid of the Steward of Gondor against an invading Easterling tribe. Yeah, even so, Cardick remembers it, right? And identifies himself with it. Right, Horn sent us here a long time ago. We've delayed coming. Yep, met Horn. He must already know of the battle then. He is a young man, but he has an old man's fascination with history. Yeah, cool. Perhaps too keen to speak of the past to anyone who will listen. Bit of a bore, that Horn. He said too much to Theoden King, they say, and earned himself a place here at the garrison. I've been here much longer than Horn, I regret to say, and me with 3 daughters left behind in Rohan. Oh, man. It's been too long since I could send word to them. See, I haven't even communicated with Rohan. Your wife worries. Back in Rohan? Right? Okay, yeah. I'm interested in your travails, man. It's fine. I'm interested to hear this because, so you've been sent here presumably on temporary duty, right? If you've not brought your family, you're expecting to go back to Rohan. So you do a term of duty for a certain number of years, I guess is what I'm gathering here. Okay. I got a map. What am I looking for in the map? Oh, wait. The sword. Wasn't that it? It was the sword of Wadu, which it's been so long since I've done that. I've been doing the other stuff for so long. It's been months and months. Okay, so right, Wadu's sword. Nona let us borrow it, and we brought it in, and we showed it to Horn, and Horn was like, "Hey, that looks like a relic," and we're supposed to be looking. I'm trying to remember why he sent us to this guy and sent us. He wanted us to go and search in the Parth Celebrant for what other things that would look like it. I'm just trying to remember. Kurdik is saying, perhaps you will find something of use to us. I guess he's just sending me scavenging. But didn't this have to do with the sword? Somebody remind me. I don't remember. Yeah. Okay. I know, Phil. See, exactly. It has been 2.5 years, 3.5 years, 3.5 years since poor Gryfflet failed to protect the walking tree, and no one will ever let him live it down. It's so sad. Okay. Never forget. All right. I'm looking for the missing peasant, whom that guy's doing such a very bad job of babysitting. These are enormous reeds. Okay, we've got starving wolves. That can't be good. Uh-oh. A mangled Rohirrim. That can't be good. Oh, I was going to try to look at his body before I fought you guys, but fine. Okay. Wanted to examine the body. Here he was, collecting reeds. Wow. Is this their peasant and scale mill? Really? That's interesting. What remains of the servant? Okay, actually, let me go back there. Because, yeah, the 3 patches I'm supposed to look at are in the main camp. Let's do the let's do the Wolfie plot here before we get out into the mainland over there. Okay, thank you, Phil. Let's see. Horn says that looking over the site of the ancient battle with the Kundalar might give a clue to beating them in the present. Okay. So it was just like a segue from Wadu's sword. Has he seen the sword yet? Am I misremembering that? Did we not do that yet? Bring the sword in? He saw the sword, right? And he's like, hey, this looks like it could be from the field of Celebrant. And was he then like, oh, so that might help us to... We should do some historical research while we're here. Is that how it worked? I'm trying to remember.
Our mission is
He has seen the sword. Okay, thanks, Ethelwad. All right, dead at the maws of wolves. That's right. I suppose I'll need to keep a closer watch on these peasants. Yes, you're doing a very bad job. Okay, why are these wolves preying on your men? And now I'm just meant to go and kill wolves. Okay, and
Will
then
you aid the Rohirrim?
they shouldn't be acting this way. What would make the wolves act this way? Far fewer as late? Something is wrong with the wolves? Scout for creatures around the murderous pit. Okay. Not to prejudice our findings or anything. How did it get the name the murderous pit if the wolves don't usually cause any trouble? That seems hard to understand. All right, let's see how many wolves I can sneak up on. I know, Natasha, I completely agree. I like why you can just... The gaps in the walls are troubling. I mean, that just seems really lazy. Okay. All right, sorry, I'm looking at more lore questions here. About to enter a whole series of combats, so I'm thinking of lore questions I can be answering while I do this. Zach, I like that. Zach thinks the gaps are at Grima's orders, right? So clearly, Grima has sent a wall builder who thinks that leaving 10-foot gaps in the walls is a perfectly good idea. Great theory, Zach. I like that. Okay. Yep, good plan. Okay, all right, hang on. Let's see here. All right, Philip. That is Philip, number 7. I'm the 7th Philip. Can I just call you Philip the 7th? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call you Philip the 7th as if you're king. So Philip the 7th, I'll just do them in order. On the way to Rivendell, Strider tells the hobbits, "There my heart is," that is, at Rivendell. And then at Cairn Amroth, he tells Frodo, "Here my heart dwells ever." How do these two statements or locations relate to one another? Well, there's a fairly simple thread that connects those two particular beads. Ooh, this guy does not look healthy. Ravaged. Boy, he is ravaged. What happened to you, poor wolf? I mean, do I get to put a bunch of wolves out of their misery? Because miserable they do indeed look. Yikes. Okay. And you're starving. So he's ravaged and you're starving? That's awful. Oh, he detected me right before I could attack him. I was trying to... So I just, when I was retrading Gryfflet just before the stream, I was giving him all this, like, attack from stealth bonus. I still haven't succeeded in doing it. Oh, right. Look at all this stuff. Woohoo. Okay. Yeah, so there's a fairly simple thread that ties those beads together, and that is Arwen, of course. 4,000 in the first shot. There you go, Gryfflet. That'll do. One shot out of stealth and then coup de grace, right? Wham! That's pretty awesome. Let's see if you can do that again. Oh, not quite. Oh, yeah, I did it. Very good. That was efficient. Cool. Okay. But I'm supposed to be scouting for creatures around the murderous pit. This is around the murderous pit, right? I'm finding bunches of creatures, all largely in wolf form. Anyway, sorry. Arwen, as I say. So when he says, "There my heart dwells," that's clearly an indirect reference, right, to the fact that his girlfriend is there. So Arwen, his love is there, and of course Cairn Amroth, his heart dwells here in Cairn Amroth because that's where they got betrothed. So this is a significant memory. Yeah, that's a cherished memory for him. The place where he and Arwen were affianced. So yeah, I think that and that to me is enough to explain it. That when Aragorn talks like that, he is talking about his relationship with Arwen. Oops, I'm like stealthing and unstealthing myself accidentally. Oh well. Yes, Phil, this... Whoa. Hang on, somebody needs help. Whoa. Hey there, Gryfflet to the rescue. Yeah, don't worry. We'll dispose... Unless you wanted to kill them all. Sorry if I messed up. You looked like you were running away from them. Maybe you were just gathering a bunch of them like Wiggin does. So I'll leave you to it. You probably don't need my help. Looked like a kind of dwarf in distress sort of situation there. Right, no, but where are the... If this is the murderous pit, and I'm supposed to find creatures... Permanent corpse? He's been ravaged in a... Yeah, there are some permanent corpses around here. What is become of the pack of wolves? I don't remember the solution to this quest at all, actually. Oh, leaving parts of backpacks behind? That's not cool. You should take them all so they will regen. Burglar's etiquette, you know. Yeah, I know. I figured as a guardian. Still, you know, you can't be too careful. You see somebody in distress being attacked by a pack of wolves, you help. So, where are the quest rings pointing me to? Are there just mobs in here that guardian is killing? I hate it when that happens. Yeah. But anyway, Phil, yeah, so this music. This is the Rule Britannia music that you are hearing. The one that reminds me exactly of Rule Britannia from Ultima. For other people who are old. Okay, well, there's one of these quest rings right here. Okay. Where is this putative creature? I'm seeing nothing but other wolves. Completed no time for games. So that was just, I've killed enough wolves. Sure, yeah, but I've still made no manner of progress whatsoever on these other... Are there special wolves that I just need to wait until they regen and hope that guardian doesn't kill them again immediately? Let's see. There's one way over here. Let me check that one. If somebody's farming wolves, then maybe they won't be over here. Let's see. What's over here? Yeah, by this great rock. What does this big, huge rock have to do with the wolves? Really? I don't see anything. Just another generic wolf. Starving, admittedly, therefore somewhat pitiable, but... What am I missing? Why is it that I can't... I'm scouting like anybody's business. Somebody tell me what I'm missing? Because I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think I'm looking for wolves either. But I don't see anything else. Is it under the flowers? I'm supposed to look for prey corpses? I don't see any corpses other than those wolf corpses, and those didn't seem I mean, it seemed remarkable that some of them were actually dead, but... Yeah, my map shows all these quest rings, which give me nothing when I go there. Here I am, in the murderous pit. Here I am, almost in the very middle of that quest ring, and here's nothing that I can see other than wolves and another wolf and a dead wolf whose corpse doesn't seem interesting to Gryfflet anyway. There's wolves eating on the corpse of another wolf, which is a little bit disturbing, but again, Gryfflet doesn't seem to think anything is particularly significant about that corpse in particular. So, okay. All right, I'll go to your coordinates there. Hang on, let's stealth up again. Ethelod says 27.2 south, so let's see. Hang on, 27.2. I gotta go a little more south. 57 west, hang on. I can't with the rocks. Is it up there? Okay. Okay. Here I come. 27.2. Okay. And then I gotta go a little bit east from here. There we go. All right, and wait, there's something. What's that? Whew! A wolf lies dead. Okay, found a dead wolf. But I was finding dead wolves and not finding anything strange about that, apparently. Something up here? Okay. I'm just trying to follow the... Okay, alright. Now head north from here. That was the one I was at. I've been at this wolf corpse multiple times. Is this not it? No, not quite. Oh. Still more south. Ah! Okay. A horse of the Rohirrim, fallen and mauled. Got it. Okay. And then... way over there? Yeah, 58 west. Gotta go way west. Okay. I do not know why I'm having such a hard time differentiating these corpses. So far we've got a wolf killed by a blade and then a horse. So we've got the wolves and Rohirrim can't be friends. That's the... Okay. 58.4. Okay. So I'm on the right... I'm on the right latitude. I just gotta go out to the correct longitude. Okay, this is where I was before. I didn't find any corpses. Is the corpse buried under the flowers? Oh, yeah. There's the corpse. And it's a deer. 2 deer. Slain deer of Stangard. Man, that is no feat. No small feat. And there lie 2 of the most fierce, maddened, and terrifying enemies Gryfflet has encountered, lying slain and way out of their way. Okay. Whew. Okay. This does not convey much to me. Yeah, JJ, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I need to be mediator between the wolves and the Rohirrim. That'd be good. Okay.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
Hey, no problem. Happy to clear things.
Depends upon our strength. Will you aid us?
Okay. Gravely concerning. What's gravely concerning? Wolves killed deer? Wolves killed a horse? That's sad, but... Send a word of these discoveries to Idmar. Okay. Still not disturbed. Just really not.
What brings you to these lands?
These wolves are without any nourishment from the field and have become more dangerous in desperation. But who's ravaging them? I mean, they look wounded. Still puzzled, Briffard. Still puzzled. But let's see. I gotta gather some reeds. You want me to gather reeds? Are you gonna watch me? Like, even though I'm not a peasant, you want me to do this? Or maybe because I am a peasant. Because I really kind of am a peasant. I know, Zach, wolves killing things does kind of seem like their MO. I mean, like, what? Not to mention that it's contradictory. Like, why would they kill a horse? Well, because they were hungry, right? But they're starving because they can't find anything to kill. Except horses and deer. Both of which seem like perfectly legit prey animals for a wolf. Especially wolves who are really hungry. Oh, hey there. The fact that the deer are present, like those deer from Stangard, that seems like a little on the odd side. But, you know, I don't know. Ooh. Just walked right through a likely patch of weeds here. Oh, wolf, I was afraid you were going to wander into my zone. How many reeds do I have to collect? Good grief. So many reeds. Maybe the wolves are meant to be attacking each other. or Peter, did you mean the deer? The deer might be attacking each other too. I wouldn't put any level of aggression past those deer. It makes all kinds of sense to me. By the way, these reeds, you know why these reeds are here, right? These reeds are here because they're in the book. There is a reference to the bank of the river, like there being nothing but reeds along the bank of the river. After they, you know, in the chapter, the Great River, as they're descending down the river in their boats. Any more reeds down this way? This feels a little bit silly to me. I'm like completely surrounded by reeds saying, help, I can't find any reeds. Come on now. More reeds. Any help here? Oh, hark. Wait, I think if through the reeds in the distance, I think I can see some reeds. Okay. Whew. Zach is speculating that perhaps the deer of Thingwad are so tough because they are veterans of the war with the wolves. You know, could be. Honestly, Zach, I think they must have been the aggressors in the war with the wolves, right? I think the deer of Thingwad are totally like, we're not going to take it anymore. We're sick of being prey animals. We're taking the battle to the predators. That is really seems to me more the speed of the deer of Thingwad. Ornery beasts they are. Okay, found your reeds, no problem.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
Maybe the wolves are ravaging the wolves because the deer and horses are killing each other. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, hey, JJ, that would make a good sequel to Bambi. The deer muster an army and set out to wage war against the wolves. Okay. If we had more servants like me, you wouldn't find yourself in such situations where you wouldn't have to babysit us and do such a bad job. Okay. Am I ready to depart?
The Rohirrim have need
What?
of
I'm
your
going to go
services.
with you? All right. Supposed to find the captain, huh? I should be with Idmar bringing the fight to those brigands. So there are brigands in the southeast. Okay. Is this a nod, do you think, to... It's so... I see you, brigand. Is this... Are we to understand then this is kind of like the brigandage that we saw... And I love that word. Today is a good day because I got to use the word brigandage. Is this the brigandage like that which we saw in Evendim, right, where we had the looters? Oh, sorry. This is the other quest I'm pursuing here. Nah, I don't want to do that yet. Where's Ithamar? Down here. Maybe I should have stuck to the road. Let me go back to the road. Taffeta you used Burglarious in a song? That is excellent. That is excellent. Yeah, I know that that's Ithmar's camp, but there's a ruin right here. I want to look at the overall shape of it. So, it's on the other side of the river. You've got the bridge, obviously. You've got this walled area with some large buildings. You've got this tower, which is probably a lookout tower, facing into what would have been the northern frontier, right? It's got a bridge coming up, so you've got a road which would have obviously, I mean, this is obviously a Gondorian ruin, right? So we've got the road coming up from Gondor to the south. Do you think, would the people of Gondor, so let's put ourselves into the, point of view of the ancient Gondorians of the early Third Age, who, when their kingdom was still at its high point, the people who built this now ruin, right? This road, the road which crosses the river here and continues up and goes straight into Lothlorien. Would they have called this the Lothlorien Road? Was that the point of it? Was there communication? Was there trade between the elves of Lothlorien and Gondor? Yes. I think there would have been. Certainly this road suggested. I mean, this road goes straight into Lothlorien, right? So the game by establishing this road and establishing this ancient ruin guarding this very prominent stone bridge, which is important, right? This was designed to be a permanent crossing, so they've made a highway to Lothlorien from Gondor, which seems to be done on purpose, right? This road doesn't go anywhere else. So it suggests that in the old days, Gondor did communicate with Lothlorien much more frequently and perhaps even trade with them. And that, of course, seems to me exactly as it should be, right? Remember the comment, specifically, what is the comment that Aragorn made when he was talking to Boromir about Lothlorien, right? He says, lore wanes in Gondor, Boromir, right? If the men who were once wise now speak ill of the Golden Wood. Lore wanes in Gondor. So in the older days, Gondor knew better, and Aragorn knows it, right? So clearly there would have been communication. I wonder what that was like. I wonder what kind of relationship the people of Gondor had with Lorien, right? Yeah, now, Matthias, it's possible. You know, it could be Moria. I mean, and we know that if you follow this road through Lorien and come out the other side, you know, you will get to the Dimrill Dale. But I can't imagine they were just using Lothlorien as a, you know, a forest they used to take a shortcut through, right, to get to Moria. No, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. Was this the road that Isildur would have been following? No. Okay, because that would go over here. So just looking. Yeah, too big. Yeah, back to here. Okay. From the Rovanian map. So from Gondor, to get to this road, like this road clearly comes up through the Wold and eastern Rohan and down around the and presumably around the Argonath and the Falls of Rauros, right? So that it would run straight down here from Gondor. And then it crosses here into Parth Celebrant and goes up into Lothlorien here. So Matthias is right that if you wanted to go to Moria, this would be a road to take. Again, I can't imagine they were just like passing through Lothlorien without stopping there. You don't just pass through Lothlorien, right? But yeah, no, that is to say, what's his face? Isildur would have been coming up the eastern bank, wouldn't he? Because the Gladden Fields are up here. So maybe he passed through Lothlorien. He came up this road, passed through Lothlorien, and was like, yeah, I just want to go further north. And stayed on this bank of the river. Maybe they were going to cross the river at the Gladden Fields. This presumably would mean that he was aiming for the pass through the mountains. Because it's this, Rivendell would be right over here, right? The pass through the mountains that Gandalf and Elrond were leading Bilbo and the dwarves on, right? That's where we are up here, up at the Vales of Anduin and Rhosgobel, and so Rhosgobel isn't yet, right? We still don't have Rhosgobel. Okay, sorry. Anyway, yeah, Gundabad is on the map. Oh man, this is such a tantalizing map. The Withered Heath. I want to click on the Withered Heath. I still can't click on the Withered Heath. There's so much here. Worm Gap and the Withered Heath. Someday, man. Someday. I've never been up here. Someday I'm going to get there. Anyway, let me not get distracted. So yeah, Matthias, I also think that Isildur came up the eastern bank and went through here intending to cross the river up here in the north. I think that he was skirting wide of Lothlorien. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we get the Withered Heath, but it's a small part of the whole. Okay. All right. Was Dol Guldur a thing back then? No. Don't think so? Dol Guldur becomes a thing as Sauron is hiding out as the Necromancer. The Dol Guldur is the tower of the Necromancer. So it wouldn't have been. Dol Guldur wouldn't have been a thing. So the Eastern Bank, post-fall of Sauron, the Eastern Bank would have been pretty peaceful, right? Up around southern Mirkwood, where there's no Dol Guldur, and you don't have to pass through Lothlorien if you're a Isildur and you don't feel like it, right? And then you just go up and cross the river. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Where are we? Oof. Out of time is where we are. Let me meet Ithamar here. Or maybe I should wait to meet Ithamar. Idmar, not Ithamar. He's a different person. Hi, Idmar. What's going on? Wait, no, you're Idmar. Okay. Wait a second. I don't have a quest for you? Wait, for real? There's a brigand. What did I miss? Why is there a quest ring up? Oh, because there's a dude. Wait, hang on. Corpse. Perhaps this is one of Idmar's men. Okay. Invaders on the field to arms. Nice. Okay, so you are... Hang on. Soldier of Gondor. I can see your chest. Give me the... Stop with the... Yes, there it is. Tree on your chest. Very clearly. A little glare in the cloud cover there, but yeah. The lighting is poor to see this particular shade. He's got a very impressive looking sword, though. Is he wearing a helm? There you go. That's better. So it's a tree. Tree's in the middle, which is shining. Is it shining like in its own light? Is that what I'm trying to figure out here is the armor. Are those just the contours of the armor, or is it part of the design? Is this a tree and mountain sort of design, or not? I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, Phil, I'm wondering that too. Is the tree dark and so appears light because of the reversed color scheme? I can't imagine they had a black tree. Right? That seems a little much. Are you a brigand? You are a brigand. Excuse me, Mr. Brigand. Can I just have a look-see at your outfit? You look like one of the tomb robbers. Are you a former Rohirrim dude who was taken to brigandage in the wild? What's on your belt buckle? A wolf? Kind of looks like a, like the comedy and tragedy mask. Which is sort of funny. Anything on your shoulder guards there? Any designs? No, not to speak of. Okay, there we go. I can see behind you here. Yeah, no markings in the back either. Okay. Just checking. Try to figure out the story behind that, because, the brigands, as I say, the brigands in Ered Luin, who are what these guys are mostly reminding me of here. That storyline was kind of interesting. That whole concept, right? How you had the Dunedain, the remnants of the Dunedain, the rangers there in the region, and you've got these local people who are, looting the ruins, which makes sense. That would be a kind of industry there, right? I wanted to see what these guys were like, because of course it's interesting that we have brigands here. If they're Rohirric brigands, then they're like the other side, right, of the story, because all of the Rohirrim soldiers in this area are criminals, right? People who have done something wrong and are doing their tour of duty out here in Stangard, which is presumably shameful. So it puts them in this interesting sort of tension with the brigands, right? Who have taken entirely to a life of crime, as opposed to the criminals who are reforming by still being faithful soldiers at Stangard. Did I say Ered Luin? I meant Evendim. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's
What brings
Friday.
you to these lands?
By which I mean it's the end of a long week and I haven't slept much. My apologies. If I say something wrong, just assume I meant the right thing. That's pretty safe. Okay, you are Idmar. Great. I brought reeds for some purpose. Yeah, oh yeah, your dude is dead at the hands of a spirit. Yeah, that's true. I think. He attacked me anyway. Take my wage for providing reeds. Okay. Fine. All right. I think Gryfflet had better stop here because I'm getting increasingly inarticulate. Thank you very much for joining me today. So next week, I'm going to be away, I'm afraid, because it's Tex Moot next week. So I'm going to be going down to Texas to meet up with folks down at Tex Moot in Waco, Texas. So by the way, our registration is closed for Tex Moot now, but if you happen to be in or around Waco, Texas next week, you can still join us. Go to texmoot.org. There should be a contact email where you can send a message. We do have a few tickets reserved, so still possible to get in if you want to come to Tex Moot. There are more than 100 people coming to Tex Moot. It's going to be a huge event, so I'm pretty excited to go down. But anyway, I won't be here. I'll be traveling. In fact, by the time of my time slot here, I will be already down in Texas and meeting folks, having lunch with the Tex Moot organizers. So that's going to be fun. So anyway, thanks very much. Druid's Fire is coming up next, and she'll be taking my time slot next week as well for part of Winterstock coverage. Yeah, absolutely. So thanks everybody, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks when I get back. Thanks very much. Bye now. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.